We open microphones in case someone has a question, a Christmas message, anything they would like to ask. This is the time, and then we will proceed with some fun to close up the year. So anyone, please. When I see Abraham Gonzalez, I see him smile all the time. It makes me happy. Yes, Ron.
Hi, Mauricio. Happy season's greetings and all that to you. I'm sure it's nicer, warmer there than it is here. I just wanted to go on a bit further about what you were saying about the amateurs. And obviously, you were very critical of the previous regime when they were trying to expand into professional boxing and, draw up lines and attack professional boxing. Have you made any? This new group seemed very different. Have you made any sort of arrangements to meet and speak to them about? Because obviously, as you said, it's vitally important that boxing stays in the Olympics. Yes,
we have had communications with AIBA. We have tried to have communications with the Olympic Committee, or International Olympic Committee. The IOC continues to reject AIBA as affiliated to run boxing for the IOC. This is a matter of great concern. What we have been doing, we have been continue to work with USA Boxing, with Canada Boxing, with several countries that run amateur boxing in their countries. We have continuous tournaments. We have Bird Wells tournaments. We have many activity in Spain, in Nicaragua, Uruguay, other countries. And we're just going to put a task force together to address, now that it has been public that boxing is out for 2028. We need to get and address this matter. The level that we saw in last Olympics was not prime, but there's so much talent worldwide, and professional boxing comes from Olympic boxing, from amateur boxing. So we as an industry, everyone must not look and turn the head. We must look at and face it and get to work. Whether you're a journalist, you're a promoter, you're a manager, a trainer, even a fighter, we have to get to work and do something and not just stand to see what destiny brings.
Excellent. But you're open to speaking to the new regime and sitting hearing what their plans are and working with them.
Yeah, we are open to support anything that we can support. The WBC is a professional boxing. However, we created a committee for amateur many years ago when we saw the horrible administration and the horrible actions that AIBA took to try to bring professionals into the Olympic Games only for money and for numbers. Is very bad. Boxing is a great popular sport. It had the 4th ranking over all sports in the last Olympics for rating. So we need to do something and stay active and just protect boxing overall.
Excellent. Thanks, Mauricio. Happy Christmas, mate, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Ron. Don't go, huh?
Oh, no.
Hi, Mauricio. Another question from the UK. I know you might not be able to talk about this in detail, but how important is it for the WBC to have its heavyweight champion and mandatory fight announced fairly soon, rather than it go to a purse bid war?
Well, as it's very clear, the matter, we are very much limited in what we can say about the heavyweight division. We have ordered the fight, and it's in free negotiation periods. That's all that I can say, and hopefully the fight will go on in the ring, and we will get what everybody would like to see, a great fight.
Can I just ask, because no one seems to know, and I'll leave you then, because I know you can't talk about the details, but how long is that free negotiation period?
Right now, we just ordered the fight, so there's nothing else that we can comment. We will see in days to come what happens.
Brilliant. And can I just ask one other thing? You mentioned women's boxing. Did you ever imagine at the beginning of this pandemic period in the world that women's boxing would grow so much?
Well, we have been working since 2000 for women to get their due respect in the boxing world. We have always had the dream to see what is nearing to be. We're still not there, but there's so many, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Clarissa Shields. Now you have a bunch. Before we used to be able to name one fighter. Now we name tens of fighters that have world recognition, and they're going in a very good route. So I feel very confident that justice is coming for women.
Mauricio, thanks for all your work and all your colleagues' work at the WBC. We do treasure you. We are journalists. We work alongside you. We work with you. We work against you sometimes. But we love you very much, and Merry Christmas to you from me, and thanks for everything this year.
Thank you, Garrett. Same here. God bless, my friend. Abraham Gonzalez. Hola, Abraham.
Hola, ¿cómo está? So, my question to you is, prior to Porter Crawford, there was a video out that during your convention, the Crawford requested to be Errol Spence's mandatory, right? And I think you were on the video saying that the request needed to come from the promoter. Now, Crawford is no longer with Top Rank and his contract is up. And so is that still the case where he would have to wait until he makes a decision on a promoter, or is he now, being a free agent, that request is going to be considered?
It's a complicated situation because Crawford is a champion of the WBO, and Crawford, the history of rules is that the WBC cannot order. We have no direct influence over a fighter. Of course, I'm humbled and proud for him to want to fight for the WBC championship. We did once an experiment ordering Kovalev against Stevenson. That was very unfortunate because they used that order to secure a television contract and kept our champion 8 months out of the ring. It is a complicated situation. I invite the promoters and the matchmakers to make that fight. We would love to see that fight. However, what I can tell you, I promise that through my mediation efforts, I will do my best to see that fight. I like Crawford very much. He's a tremendous fighter. He was a proud super lightweight WBC champion. And I really think the Crawford Spence is the best fight in the welterweight division.
All right, Mauricio, thank you for that. And I want to tell you that I appreciate you keeping that straight face, even when people are throwing darts, and you keep that straight face regardless, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. So I definitely respect that, and wish you a happy holiday.
Same to you, Abraham. Thank you very much. Danny Flexen.
Hey, Mauricio. Season's greetings, of course. I want to ask you for your review on 2 initiatives the WBC brought in, how you think they're going so far. One being the Bridgerweight division and the other being the franchise championship.
2 hot topics.
Indeed.
And I've gotten a lot of punches over those 2, but I'm very, very, very happy with both. Bridgerweight, we have a WBC champion now. We have a silver champion, international, NABF. We have a few regional titles already contested. We have great testimonials from fighters. It is clear that there is a gap between light heavyweight, cruiserweight, heavyweight. It's a big change. You go from super middle to light heavyweight, 7 pounds difference. You go from light heavyweight to cruiser, 25 pounds difference. And then you go open-ended for the heavyweight. So this introduction of the Bridgerweight from 200 to 224 it's already finding a very nice universe of fighters within that range that are smaller heavyweights, that are fast, that are powerful. And the fights that we have seen in Bridgerweight have been very, very good, very competitive. And I am certain it's going to be a very interesting division. There's already a few fights lined up. The mandatory against the silver champion. There's an elimination bout taking place for the second mandatory. So we're going to see very much action in that. Regarding the franchise, same thing. I did my column yesterday. I don't know if you all read it or not. Basically, what happens is any change brings resistance. That's a natural. Anything in sports, in life, in school. And the WBC has changed so many things in the history of the sport. From 15 to 12 rounds, they booed my father. They threw tomatoes at him. From changing the weigh-in to a day before, from introducing drug testing, from being having the clean boxing program, so many things that are changes. It's natural. So we introduce a new concept. As any new concept, it will continue to evolve to find the perfection or the best scenario possible. What is the franchise designation? Basically, to attend those very few fighters of the highest level, which are to take place in great fights that the fans wants to see. Canelo was the first one. Through Canelo, he went as a franchise, he went on to fight in super middleweight, then in light heavyweight, then came back. He requested to fight for the WBC vacant championship. So he did, and he has not used the franchise designation, and he unified the whole division. The other one, lightweight. As I explained it yesterday, it was very complicated 3 years ago. Mikey Garcia keeping the title frozen for a year when he moved up. We ordered several series of fights. Some dropped, some didn't happen, some did happen. We ended with an interim championship. Then Lomachenko requests to fight for the vacant title, which is a great honor. We granted that. He defeated Campbell. Then he requested to be franchise in order to go in and to unify the division. We accepted that. He fought Lopez, and Lopez requested to be franchise if he defeated Lomachenko. That's the first change in the rule that we had. We adjusted where the designation can be exchanged in a high-profile fight, as it was that fight and as it was with the Kambosos. What happened with the franchise in the lightweights? You can look at it today. It gave us 8, 7 fights of the greatest level, and it will continue to give many good fights. I am sorry for the confusion that fans may have. I'm sorry for the confusion media may have. I'm sorry for those who run the statistics like maniacs and say, oh my God, what is this? If you look at all record books, you will always see asterisks in some pages. I stay with the activity in the ring, with the great opportunities to many fighters, and I stand proud. It is not something that is going to happen in every weight category. It's not that, it is not that. So I feel confident and I feel at ease and accept every comment, every request. I will accept it and try to get it for the best. Dillian, is that all, Danny?
Just a very quick follow-up. We regard George Kambosos as truly undisputed, as Devin Haney has the WBC lightweight title.
Yes, Devin Haney is the WBC lightweight title. He's a pride WBC champion. He has grown into being a tremendous champion. He defeated Gamboa, defeated Linares, just had a great outing with Jojo Diaz. As I said, it's a new concept. Kambosos defeated Lopez, who defeated Lomachenko. So I do believe he's due recognition as undisputed champion, and great fights to come.
Thank you.
Hello, Dillian.
Hey, Mauricio, how are you?
Let me just finish one thing. I saw my champion Haney comments after the fight, and he says that when he fights Kambosos, he will not care for the franchise. Perfect, because one of the things that the franchise element is, it has to be requested. So if Haney, if he defeats Kambosos and he does not want to have the franchise designation, that is perfect. Okay. Sorry, Dillian.
No. How are you? I'm sure you've been keeping up with this, but like the NBA, NFL, NHL, there's been some, ton of COVID tests. The Chicago Bulls have had a couple games canceled already. And I'm just kind of wondering, as you look ahead, I know last year, right, the drug testing program was temporarily had to be suspended because of the COVID stuff. I know you at least talked about like remote judging. I'm not sure if that actually happened, but as you kind of look forward to this next year, right, and experts predicting that this thing's going to peak again, maybe in January, maybe in the spring. Have you guys made any kind of, I guess, contingency plans to kind of deal with this if it happens? And based on maybe things that you saw last year and learned last year, are there things that you guys, might be able to implement to minimize the disruption in the sport?
Yeah, this is a great point. We do have a protocol in place. We shared it with promoters. We are upgrading it continuously. We demand ring officials and WBC supervisors to be vaccinated when they are appointed to work. We recommend to every fighter to be vaccinated as well. We have not, the medical committee of the WBC reviewed at the convention whether it should be mandatory for the fighters. That's a very delicate situation. As you have seen in the NBA, a fighter refused to vaccine and he has not played. It's a problem that we have to face. We are very concerned of the fighters who have contracted COVID-19 and eventually fought. We have a long list of cases of fighters who lost after having COVID and lost by knockout. So we have a series of recommended examinations for every fighter who has had COVID to perform it and to make a double checking in the lung, heart, and brain area. I'm very thankful that you bring this up. We're gonna do an extra effort with the promoters and the jurisdictions to prevent and to don't put the guard down. We have to continue to be very, very careful with public events, correct?
Is mandatory vaccination something you guys are looking at?
We are looking at it. We have, when things get legal, it so complicates everything. We sent a letter to the fighters requesting their vaccination record, and we received a couple of letters by lawyers claiming that it's a private medical records, blah, blah, blah. There's a dispute whether there's legality or not, but we have mandated all judges, referees, and supervisors that are appointed by the WBC to be vaccinated. And we are considering mandating fighters fighting for the WBC title to be vaccinated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen.
Hey, Mauricio, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
I wanted to ask about the David Benavidez situation. I believe he's fought twice now for a mandatory position in the WBC for the title, but I know Canelo has business in cruiserweight now, or at least it looks like that's what he's going to do. So what's going to happen with David and with the WBC title at 168?
Yes, David Benavidez is going to fight for the WBC interim title while Canelo Alvarez tries the cruiserweight venture.
Is there any like guarantee for David to have that, I guess, like a mandatory enforced or something to get Canelo once Canelo's done at cruiserweight?
Well, that's a matter of promoters and fighters. There's no guarantee, never, especially Canelo moving up in weight. We don't know if he's going to come back. He will stay a cruiser, come back to light heavyweight, or come back to the super middleweight. But at the time, Benavidez is going to have a championship title. As you know, he's a double WBC world champion, has never lost the title in the ring, only due to unfortunate personal matters. One being the complications of the COVID and not making weight. But Benavides is very happy, and he will be fighting for the interim title soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you for everything, man. All year, appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. Lance?
Hi, Mauricio. How you doing?
Fine, and you, my dear friend?
Good. It's been really nice to see you. Sorry we couldn't spend more time together in New York. A couple questions. George Kambosos could be headed to a full undisputed title against Devin Haney, but I think it's pretty clear that the WBO, which stands first in line for his mandatory, is saying that they have Vasily Lomachenko in position for that mandatory. What would take precedence in that situation? Would Kambosos be allowed to fight for the undisputed title against Haney first, or would he be obligated to deal with his WBO mandatory in that situation? Have the sanctioning bodies discussed this matter at all?
No, we have not discussed this. Lomachenko just won a few days ago. So I'm sure we're going to be talking about the matter. So I would like to first understand, and then I can make a comment about this matter.
Okay. And then additionally, I know on this point that some of the guys are asking you about, in particular, the Spence Crawford situation. And I know what you said about, in some cases it does require the work of the promoters, and that's right. But has there ever been a thought, even on the Canelo matter, and yes, I think what he's trying to do and moving up to win a 5th belt, is admirable, and he will receive a lot of praise for that too. But like you said, like David Benavides will be in limbo. Is there any discussion at all by the WBC that, look, if we elevate someone into a mandatory position and you do not fight our mandatory in a certain window, of tightening that window and saying, like, if you don't do it within a year, we're going to strip you? Because to me, it seems that's your ultimate power. I mean, yes, the promoters have power because they're the ones who are making the fight, but you also have the power of the belt. And say, if the champion is not giving the fights that the fans are wanting, that the public is clamoring for, then you need to go away. Is there any, could that be done? Was that something that you would ever consider to sort of, put more teeth to this process?
That has been done, Lance. What you are saying is very romantic, to put it that way.
I'm a writer. I'm a reporter.
Everybody wants all the great fights, and you might have one very favorite fighter, and Dylan, who's enjoying a very tasty breakfast, might have another favorite fighter. So between you guys, you have discussions. When you have a mandatory contender, the champion must fight the mandatory. If not, he will lose the championship.
What's the window? What's the time window? Is it a specific time window that is established?
When you order the fight, okay. You can be mandatory without having the exact window. But once the WBC orders the fight, they have to either make that fight or relinquish the championship or relinquish the mandatory position. We have seen many times that mandatory contenders also abuse the position of being mandatory. It is not an easy topic. We just received a letter a few weeks ago. They wanted also the WBC to order Charlo to fight against the WBO champion. Same thing as Crawford. So this is a situation that sounds very romantic, sounds doable, sounds great, but we cannot interfere in the business of the promoters. Charlo is the WBC champion and Andrade is the WBO champion. I would be infringing the WBO territory if I was to order him. But we can talk about it and we can try to put the parties together. I believe it's a great fight for the fans, but there's rules and there's also legalities. When you go to court, all your good intentions, all your good deeds go out of the window, and then you have just to deal with lawyers, and it's very, very complicated.
Thank you so much, Mauricio. I think ultimately my question was kind of rooted in you and the WBO have had some success in, holding these fighters accountable for their mandatory, and it's produced some pretty good fights within the last year. So why not, continue to kind of hammer that point home.
Yes, and that's the intention. We met, and that's on top of the list, and that's what we want. We don't want to have fighters being stripped. We don't want to have fighters not fight the great fight. So we're trying to make it. It's a process. It has begun.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. If you guys don't mind, we'll give Cynthia Conte, because she's a lady, the next. Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, sorry, Brooklyn's very cranky. It's his nap time. But I don't know if you guys touched upon it or asked, but since the WBC has created the Bridgerweight weight class, when you and all the other sanctioning bodies had the meeting to talk about belts, did you guys talk about possibly adding the Bridgerweight in the other sanctioning bodies to fully recognize it in all WBO, IBF, WBA?
When we met, they were asked this question, and they all said that they are going to see how the WBC process goes, and then they will decide on their own.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay, thank you guys. I was going to ask the one, but Lance already asked about Dillian White, if that was all settled. Okay, well, Brooklyn says, happy holidays, and thank you guys. It's great to see you. This is totally different, by the way. Like, never have I ever thought I'd sit on a Zoom call with this little thing. Okay, happy holidays and be safe.
Beautiful family.
Thank you.
I believe Chris is next. We cannot hear you, Chris.
Buenos días, Mauricio. Feliz Navidad. Muchas gracias por mi regalo el año pasado. Oiga, yo quería preguntar en español. Ahorita acabamos de hablar de Canelo con David Benavides. Es una pelea que todo el mundo quiere ver, una pelea que todo el mundo habla de ella, pero sabemos que en mayo posiblemente Canelo sube al crucero, y ahorita usted acaba de mencionar que tal vez David Benavides va a pelear con otra persona. ¿Sí nos puede contar en español sobre esa situación, por favor?
Sí, Canelo estará subiendo a peso crucero. Hizo una petición especial, la cual fue aceptada, y posteriormente ya se ordenó a Benavides para pelear un título interino. Posteriormente evaluaremos qué pasa si Canelo regresa al supermedio, en qué división se queda, y veremos, pero por lo pronto Benavides va a tener bastante chamba, bastante actividad. Gracias,
Mauricio. Cuando menciona la pelea de interino, podría ser que sería una pelea con Caleb Plant.
Vamos a ver, estamos viendo el tema. Lo que sí sé es que ya está confirmado Benavides para pelear por el interino, y se anunciaría pronto ya la pelea que será.
Gracias, feliz Navidad a todos.
Igualmente, gracias. Fred.
Hi Maurizio, how are you doing, mate?
Good, and you, my friend?
Yeah, all good. So when Yildirim fought Canelo all the way back, I think it was kind of Mayish time, you said you were disappointed in Yildirim's performance. How can you and the WBC kind of look over the mantra system and kind of see who's right to fight for the title?
Well, we have. I was very clear. Yildirim earned the rights when he fought Errol, but that was 2 years prior. Then the pandemic hit. He had a fight scheduled, and that fight was canceled. Then the pandemic hit. So it was just a carryover of legalities. I expected Yildirim to perform in a much better way than he performed, unfortunately. And we did. We have put much more stringency in the process. And we have, I don't know if you saw the report we did from the convention, but now we have a new rule on the mandatories. When you win a final elimination, you might be subject to fight another fight if there is a unified champion. So we're working on it. With so many different championships, the quality of the contenders sometimes dilute. So we just don't want to have fighters go up, and just because they're up there, they're mandatory. We want the best mandatory challenges for the champions, and that's the best for the industry.
Okay, I understand them, Maurizio. In this year, in 2021, we've seen Josh Taylor come undisputed and also Canelo come undisputed. How important do you think it's for boxing and WBC we have more undisputed champions in the sport?
It is very important. It gives a chance to the world to narrow down